non-governmental organization development NGO in Thailand. We established in 1974. We are celebrating 40th anniversary year, and then after that, we integrate other activities into the existing public planning activities. We have 18 branches offices scattering all around Thailand, so less than the investment rate. So we are having a problem. Another problem is not overpopulation, environmental conservation protection, emergency relief. In the past 2 years, they have and we use this as a model for every big company who face problems of protests from the local people. Right? So how could we work together very smoothly in the same communities? That is a tactics. So we offer and propose you to have a tripartite model, which according to the project that we plan together. Yes. I give you an example. This is one of the companies that join our CSR program. Chevron. Chevron, they have a big project in the down south, but in the same time, they would like to help the people.
Here, different with Mr. Bamakuino, because I'm not senator. Okay, morning all. I will present about after 5 years from the development of the Medwafa, we going to social organization, empowerment organization, and non-profit organization.
It's a real social enterprise. There are several organizations working in the rural areas, and they claim that they are social enterprise. But in the realities of that nature of services, they exploit from the villagers. So this is a challenge for us to learn from the others. Like I mentioned, that Korea had a social enterprise law exists 4 years ago. And Vietnam just and we hope that once it exists, so we can define between the company who run a purely business and social enterprise.
How the business orientation just as for make profit and income for our organization, but the height of our orientation, our objective is to support, to need the poor people or the needy. This is we must maintain to our organization, because our social enterprise unit is more add in time to time. Yeah. How to make this organization is still orientation to serve the poor people and the needy in Indonesia. This is our challenges now.
Any reaction, insights?
Another successful.
Yeah, I think I like to share the experiences of Dinas Swadaya related to the combining business and the social activities. Our organization is NGO-based organizations, and in Indonesia There's a lot of organizations like this. And many NGOs are very much based on the donation mechanism for their activities. During the 80s, this is something that we have taught, and the cooperative is a kind of social business mechanism. So instead of we are building our own institutions for social entrepreneurship, so we try to influence in Indonesia 74,000 villages. So the opportunity is there. And we decided that this village, company-owned village, is a promoter of startup groups, is microfinance promoter, is a production and marketing promoter and development, is rural technology provider, etc., etc. So we are not necessary to have many unit of organization, but we can influence and make it occur in so many structures in the country, that produce opportunities.
Yes,
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. In the Philippines, because you were asking about the situation of NGOs here also, and their attitude towards social entrepreneurship. Many NGOs here are interested in social entrepreneurship because of the problem of sustainability. Sustainability in different levels. One is sustainability of their own institutions. The other is the sustainability of programs and projects on the ground. And then the sustainability of institutions as well as communities, that they leave behind when they actually leave those communities. So NGOs now, I think, are very much interested in social entrepreneurship because of that. However, there are many barriers. The first, I think, the most important barrier is capability, because many NGOs are not used to thinking in terms of the enterprise mode and economic subsectors, because NGOs have been very strong in social-political as well as environmental development, but in the socio-economic realm, that's been the weakest area. That's why I think in the Philippines, when we introduced social entrepreneurship as strengthening the socio-economic work in communities, so that they are, so that we're able to empower communities holistically, not just socio-political, not just in the environmental management sense, but also in the socio-economic realm. Then many NGOs and civil society are supportive to social entrepreneurship. And apart from capabilities one, the other has to do with financing. Many NGOs who want to go into social entrepreneurship initiatives are finding it difficult to look for financing to actually do what they want to do in terms of social enterprise development. And of course, the third problem is an enabling environment. Right now, there are no incentives also. That's why we believe that the poverty reduction through social entrepreneurship bill will do a lot to promote also the NGOs developing, not leaving what they used to do, but adding the component of socio-economic empowerment through social entrepreneurship with what they are doing in communities. The problem now is that when we study the high and affected areas, many of the NGOs that used to be very active are gone. The only ones that have survived are those that are into microfinance, those that are into cooperatives development, like Dicto, like CARD, and those that have fair trade work. And I think there's a need for some synergy between social enterprises in the Philippines as well as civil society to work together in order for us to strengthen our social entrepreneurship movement. Why do I say that? For example, CARD has a big outreach, but much of their capability have to do with microfinance. Even as they're already doing many innovative strategies to start with community development. I think there will be a very big impact if CARD partnered with civil society organizations that do not have funding anymore. And for them to provide services that we were calling transformational services, as well as social inclusion services, in order to reach more clients of microfinance to have the three. They have transactional services, transformational services, and social inclusion services at the same time. And CARD does not need to build its capability for everything, but CARD can work with with civil society organizations that are still there, and their capabilities are still there, but they're on the verge of dying because they don't have funding anymore from the donors that used to support them. But the NGOs will also benefit from the social enterprises that have survived because they will learn about how the business social enterprises. The reason why they can actually develop in that way is that you're talking about a minority people who need the support because they're not being supported by government and market institutions. No? But in developing countries like the Philippines, we have the majority of our people, or at least a significant percentage of our population, who are poor and who need to be moved out of poverty. So the strategy that we have cannot just be single enterprise development. It cannot just be single social enterprise development. But that's the reason why we introduced value chain and subsector development. So that remember the Bota Central case, where we have from soil to cup, and the Kennemer case, where you have cooperation in the whole value chain. Those are the kinds of, and the Kennemer was talking about maybe 50,000 farmers in a few years. We're needing interventions that would affect thousands, millions of poor people. That's why we need to develop economic subsectors, strategic economic subsectors that actually, where the poor are concentrated or could be major players, and where there's also a possibility of growth. So maybe we need to, while we learn from the experiences of other countries, we need to actually also understand the context, the differing context that we're in, so that we apply their lessons in ways that are useful for us. Because even in terms of the Philippines, when the Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia started the research on social enterprise, on the social entrepreneurship bill, the poverty reduction through social entrepreneurship bill, we actually...
And this consultancy is in cooperation with civil society organizations, international World Bank program whatsoever, and also the government program. Then we create and we put all the insight of what we are very concerned about social entrepreneurship, social solidarity with the people. And then it's create a better understanding and about the social impact, about the poverty allegations, and that's become the awareness of many. And then only after that kind of understanding is occurred, then might be something necessary to organize a bill or so as the bill is based on the meaning of the this is
Yes. Good morning.
It's not good that it's new because not many people know and don't have the concept, but it's good it's new that it means that we can somehow to lead the conversation and influence the policy discussion around the social enterprise. What is Institute we established about 5 years ago, and CISIP is the first organization to introduce the concept of social enterprise and social entrepreneurship in Vietnam. And that's and from the very beginning, my belief is about inclusive. The social enterprise is not only focusing on the most vulnerable group, but is the social enterprise is a new approach or new solution to address all the social issues, the social problem, social and environmental problem. So as I mentioned in my presentation on the first day, that it's very inclusive, and you can see it could be the NGOs, civil social organization, it could be a part of SME or micro SME as well. Because according to our study, when in 2011, we
Institutions like CARD that are driven by their social mission. Because there are some microfinance institutions that are just there for really mainly profit and making themselves sustainable. But so there are a number of there are many microfinance institutions in the Philippines, I think, that are social mission driven. The second is social cooperatives. Social cooperatives are cooperative in form, but their members, majority of their members, or a significant part of their members are from the poor, and they have dedicated programs towards their poor members. No? And then so there are many co-ops in the Philippines, but for example, when we studied the Victo membership in the Visayas, we found out that it's not all the Victo members, for example, will pass as social cooperatives, but some of them, or a number of them, a big number of them would be. No? And then the third type are what we call trading development organizations. These are the NGO-initiated social enterprises that are now doing to the poor. No? Like in the case of Ana Meloto, paying their workers 750 at a time that minimum wage in the Philippines is 450 pesos. No? So we believe that it's when we unify all these actors in a concerted effort towards poverty reduction and addressing inequality that we could.
I'd like to answer the question of my colleague from Singapore University. Yes, she'd like to know that whether the SE or NGO in Vietnam now they still aim at the poverty reduction or not. So I think there are different pictures, because as you know, Vietnam we share that we are the middle income country in terms of very official announcement. But in my organization view, we have
competing with the same community enterprises where you are assisting. So how would you minimize that? Because naturally, if I am in the NGO foundation, I would suppose that I would select those viable social enterprises that maybe it can also be undertaken by the community enterprise which I assist.
What is not only to help them in terms of the money, donation only, but we would like them to involve in the communities by the big companies. They have financials enough to help. But who will be the mediator, the facilitators? So I propose NGO to be facilitators, link between the companies and the villagers itself. Yes. So the point is they have to sit together, both the villagers, companies, representatives, and the facilitators, discussing about the problems in that area. So you can choose any area. We are not limited into this area, but also the other areas that they choose, and they sit together and come up with the problems and explore ways how to solve the problems and making into a project. Those projects will be implemented by the villager itself. But the companies and the facilitators give them a technical assistance, financial assistance. So by this way, it means that the villager itself will be sustainable.
I've been one of those who established a teacher, another party list. Just since everybody introduced themselves, I'll say a little bit about what I've done. I come from a family of educators. We've established 2 universities, some colleges of law, School of Medicine. We have a 300-400 bed hospital. And when I took over, all I did was put up 3 charity schools where everybody is free. Our foundation is in honor of my parents. Benita is still alive and well. She's 90 years old. I play mahjong with her every Sunday. And I'm happy that she's still the dean of one of our graduate schools. I have a very unusual foundation. When I set it up many years ago, my idea was, suppose I become a foundation that helps create institutions. So let me tell you about 4 institutions we have established. I invited Elila Demora, who used to be the executive director of ISEA, to my house many years ago, and we organized TPKI, the bill to Congress, and worked on it in the Senate. I have never done a closing remarks. Lisa is a dangerous person and very persuasive. Now she must suffer through my closing remarks. Last August, I decided that one of the schools I own, St. Lucia College, will be converted into a social enterprise as part of our Golden Jubilee or 50th year celebration. I was actually with my parents when we organized it in 1966. We have no idea what we're doing, but in the next 14 months, the entire school with its 20,000 plus alumni will become a social enterprise. And we have identified how we will do this, but we're not sure. So I was happy to come here actually, Lisa, and listen to all these wonderful experiences. And the confusion that my NUS friend mentioned is exactly my state of mind at the present time. From my point of view, I learned a few things this morning, which I would like to summarize. Mr. Lotikul, to me, mentioned 2 things that I was interested in. By the way, I was doing work in Thailand when Mr. Michay, was running condom bursting competitions, which shocked the hell out of me. Because known, TV and so on, he would go to the middle of the red light district and talk to these people, and I would see this. Well, I'm a little bit taller than him, I think. And I thought, my God, in 1970-71, I did research with the Population Commission. It's a long time ago. And I thought that, now this guy is doing it the right way. That's why the secretary, the late senator from here, was my idol. Because he made complicated things very simple. And I thought this morning what came out was that those of us interested in social enterprise have the same challenge. To find a way to make social enterprise sexy while still making a business case. I was teaching entrepreneurship at De La Salle's graduate school in I know it was more than 30 years ago. And my challenge was, what is entrepreneurship? So today our challenge is social entrepreneurship. So Mr. Lotikul mentioned 2 things I like. This is business and there are sustainability issues. Mr. Juwaini said, I mean, journalists putting up something. Have you ever heard of something so crazy? I mean, I thought that was crazy. Congratulations. I thought journalists were only concerned with other things. But he mentioned they have branches because of domestic workers. So the lesson for us is follow your market. Be where your market is. There was a question from our friends from South Korea. Yes, the young lady over there. I'm not wearing my glasses, so you're a young lady. To talk about this engagement. Now mind you, I have an NGO, I have a foundation whose only interest is to help other NGOs become better than us. And we will do what is necessary to help. We run a consulting enterprise, retired partners like me from Pricewaterhouse and so on. You can call us. Our firm is called Consulting and Business Services for Social Enterprises. Past presidents of banks, people who have worked in every country in Asia, they're there. Of course, the average age is a little bit. Well, you know, we have this card that gives us discounts. But once in a while, when we're not napping in the afternoon, we can do some good stuff. Yes. But you can call us for a camp. We actually run a lot of camps. If you have people with ideas, we will run an idea camp and help them see if their ideas are worthwhile as social enterprises. We have another camp, which is called the Project Development and Review Camp. You have a proposal, or you have something you want to do, come to us. But we're brutal. More than 99% fail. Why? What I understood from our friends from Indonesia is that it is still a business, and therefore we must be as strict as anybody else making a business decision. You can come to one of our 3 fund matching camps. If you're interested, you have an NGO, we have for small businesses, we have a camp with New Zealand money, we have another camp that's crowdfunding, we have a camp involving bigger financial and more organized institutions. Take them. They should leave us. They should go with those who can create the capability that I heard this morning. Share with other people. Work together. Except I think you have to be strong. If you're organizing something I understood from what Dele was saying, if you're just putting up something because you have a good heart and you want to help people, you probably will fail. If you organize something because you just want to redistribute, make sure that you're coming from a perspective where you have solid fundamentals. That's what I understood from Mr. Bamba. I am sorry I did not hear his talk the other day. I wish I was here. But I'm sure there will be tapes and notes, and I look forward to receiving them. So when I look at these 4 gentlemen, and ladies, I was going to say lady, but ladies, kasi nakialam si Tita Teresa, she gave her comment. I realized that although we did not answer the topic of this session, the daughters and sons, they do grow up and remind us that there's this world that we may not be as familiar with. And I think that's the challenge. That's the true challenge. When do you continue? When do you revise? When do you modify? So I read that there's this pro-well research. I'm happy research is being done. Please take note of what was mentioned in that other question earlier, which was great. The gentleman over there asked, how do you measure what you're doing? And I think most of us forget that. We must have measurable output. We must be humble enough to accept when there is a better way of doing it. So I'd like to sum up by saying there was a lot of discussions on the role of government. For us older people, I think the nice phrase is, beware of what you ask for. You may just get it. When you're small and struggling, when you need the help of government, it is wonderful to ask the government for help. But when you're reaching another level, you begin to ask, what is the true role of government? I heard the senator mention 7 bills, and I was aghast. But I know he's coming from a good place. So, for me, and I am an entrepreneur in my small way, with no social impact as business. I worry when government thinks they know more than me as to what is needed to do business. this session has brought out different competing ideas. And whether you're in Vietnam with a different government structure or with a new president in Indonesia, which has a very populist approach, I like him walking in water. I wish all politicians would do that. And if they get sick, good. Then they know what the average person has to address. And the person that all of us are trying to help. So that's role of government. But I caution everyone on removing the middleman. The Senator and I, times we talk, I've always said, not because I'm Chinese, because that's only by blood. I'm Filipino inside and outside. I did not join the first quarter storm because I was Chinese. Filipinos know what I'm talking about. The middleman, however, is necessary. Even in all the developed countries where the micro, cottage, small and medium businesses represent 80% or whatever of their structure, there are always middlemen. The people, well, hopefully they don't grease things, which sometimes they do, but the people who make things happen. When we want a direct connection between producers and consumers, I think we should think carefully as to whether it is appropriate to remove all middlemen. Visualize an economy with no middlemen. I can't. If you can, you're certainly much better than I am. I also wanted to share with you something I read in the newspaper this morning from Business World on the Masikat program. Did you read it yet? See, in 1974, when Father George Piron was starting it together with King Paterno, they had this crazy idea that they could get graduating college students in the Philippines who are honor students to, instead of going to school, work as volunteers to help micro, small, and I read it. It was a celebration of the life of the late Senator Paterno, who died a few days ago. And when you have time, please pray for him. He was a good man. He used to visit me, I don't know why, in the province. And we would try to solve all the problems in the world. We never succeeded. But we enjoyed coffee together. And I think that is the last lesson that is here. This dialogue must continue beyond conferences. You don't really learn from, these experts talking. You learn from sharing. And to our future sharing, let's enjoy lunch and good morning.
Thank you.